being a jack of all trades is not always the best thing in this way. Okay. So creative design has always been my passion. That's my bread and butter. But I've always had a passion for the kitchen as well. Getting clients is not as easy as it's pasted out here. And getting that job is not always as easy. You can't just walk into a room and convince people you do creative design. It doesn't work like that. They must have heard about you, they must have seen your work or interacted with it in any other platform for you to actually convince them, I do creative work. You're going to be thrown under the bus a few times. Yeah, because they're going to twist your arm and say, this is the scope of work you were given. I don't understand why just doing 10 posters is an issue. You understand? When someone just throws that in your face, it means they really didn't value your work to begin with. For someone or people to understand you do design or you're a creative designer, you have to have done a lot. For people to actually know your name, you have done a lot. And in this industry, right now it's forcing people to be a jack of all trades, which is not really something that I'd call being a creative per se. It's just being messy. Because a job might ask for a creative designer who's doing photography, videography, who's doing video editing, animation, who's doing, like, they want one person to handle jobs for 10 creatives, but it comes with one page. You understand? Yeah. So now that market is becoming a little bit less and less fruitful to look into, especially when it comes to the money. With the emergence of AI and people being more and more aware of the platforms and whatnot, I'd say they equate being creative with just a click of a button, as opposed to what you've spent almost 20 years learning, which is now where the challenge comes in against the pay. So some of our young men are growing into those little categories where they're ticking off, it's living like you're checking off a box. Number one, good job. Yeah. Number two, a good wife. Children, a good house, a good car. It's a checkbox, a checklist. Now it stopped from living, it's now checking a box. Why? Because you want to make sure the person next to you or your neighbor or your friend or whoever it is that you want to show off into this generation, you are okay. But the truth of the matter is you'll have all that. And if you are not happy, if you are not genuinely you, then what is it all for?
Welcome to The Narrative Architect. My name is Ridemta Kathua. In this platform, you get to architect your own story by telling it yourself. In today's conversation, I'm joined by a young gentleman who is going to talk to us about being a creative or doing creative work in this economy. Welcome to the conversation, Joe.
Thank you very much.
Before we begin, who is Joe? Tell us a little bit about Joe.
Well, Joe, his full names are Joe Munyao. I'm creative. I've been a creative since I was a small child, into the line of fine art. Let's just say I've been always a pencil and paper fan. So I think getting into the creative space is something that I think I already had seen, or at least I knew where I wanted to take my expertise, my talents, and how I wanted to use them. So by the time it's getting to graphic design, I think it was very straightforward, because the only one question that was ever asked to me was by a lecturer. He asked me, I see you already know how to draw. Do you just want to do painting, or do you want to do something with your art? And I think at that point, I already knew what I wanted to do. So he just pointed me into a lecture room, and that was it.
Okay.
That was it.
At that time, what were you studying?
It was still fine. It was general.
Okay.
So since it was still introductory, you're getting to define yourself in this space yet, but you still don't know where you want to be in. So that's when he asked the question.
Okay.
Yes.
And how would you describe the season of life you're in today?
It's a very big question, because there's a lot that has happened till this point. So I think the best way to describe it is maybe one word: becoming. You're becoming more self-aware, which is not always a good thing, because self-aware means you carry a lot more. You are more open, or you can see things a bit more clearly. And that is not always a good thing, because it makes you now get very intentional with what you want to do. If it's your time, if it's your friends, family, anyone who you let into your space right now is very intentional.
Okay.
You're not just giving off your energy to people who won't appreciate it. Yes.
Fantastic, self-aware.
Yeah.
And speaking of creative, tell us about which side of creative do you work, so that I don't preempt the conversation.
Okay. On creative, I don't think there's a limitation on what that could be for me, because I'd like to be in everything and all things, but being a jack of all trades is not always the best thing in this field. So creative design has always been my passion. That's my bread and butter. But I've always had a passion for the kitchen as well. So during COVID, things kind of slowed down. So after a short period, like a month or two, I sat with myself and I asked myself, what would I be doing in this 2 or 3 months, or in this year, that I'm not getting as many calls as I used to? So now I had to go inquire, look at courses that I could do. And someone just threw that on my Instagram and said, try this. And they had an offer and I went to Boma.
Okay.
Yes. So I did a culinary course where I can say I am a full pastry chef. I can do anything pastry and I enjoy it fully. Yes.
Graphic designer.
Yes.
And pastry chef.
Exactly.
Those are two opposites. In the kitchen and with your laptop and with your... Those are two different angles.
I get this question a lot and I enjoy it because imagine in the space where you get to create your own content, you don't need to think about product shoots. You don't need to think about logo design. You don't need to think about ads that you're creating, posters, name it. I get to do all that all round and I'm in the spaces I love most. Okay. So what better way to live life?
And that's fantastic. And exactly. It pays you. You love doing it and it gives you bread at the end of the day.
It's amazing.
And at what point did you realize that this creativity side of yours could start paying you?
Well, I started out with donuts to begin with in the pastry department. With the creative, I started out in employment first. Okay. In employment, you get to see what works, what does not. You get to see a lot of things that maybe most people in employment spaces don't utilize, which is things that you get to now pick onto yourself and say, maybe I can incorporate this into my art. Maybe I could incorporate this into the services I get to offer. So with art and creative direction and design, I picked up branding and merchandise because I realized in the spaces I was in, no one was really willing to get into that. There were a lot of losses, of course, if you get something wrong. Yes, but you had to learn the hard way. Of course, there are losses at times, but you have to learn the hard way.
Okay. Yes. In employment, you find most of the structures are there. They're already there for you to follow. Yes. May it be the owner of the organization finding the clients. But now, what was the hardest part of you now turning this creativity into income as now an entrepreneur?
I think what no one tells you is that getting clients is not as easy as it's pasted out here. And getting that job is not always as easy. Why I'm saying this is because you can't just walk into a room and convince people you do creative design. It doesn't work like that. They must have heard about you. They must have seen your work or interacted with it in any other platform for you to actually convince them, I do creative work. So that has been a big challenge. Number two, I think no one really talks about money and how money is being utilized in these spaces for creatives. Because there's money that comes in, but the money that goes out is a lot more than the money that actually sorts out your day-to-day living. Because there's, for instance, I'll give an example. You've been given a bulk project to handle merchandise or branding. You initially don't have this capital, you don't have this money. So you have to think about, do I go to the bank? Do I ask for a friend? How do I go about getting this amount? Because sometimes these amounts are crazy. And you look at it and you go back to your client and you're like, could I get a deposit? So the question now comes back to you. You said you could handle this job. Why did you take it on if you didn't have the finances? You get? So at this point, it gets hard because now you have this work, no finances to get the merchandise, no finances to get you started. So how are you going to maneuver this? So you're left in a space where now you're wondering, yes, you have the job, but you can't even do it.
You don't have the resources to do it.
Yes.
What do you do when you get into that space?
At this point is where I had a partner to begin with. So we had to go through apps. We had to go through loans so that we get to facilitate some of these works and then get to reimburse these loans once we get paid. But sometimes they're a bit steep. So that's why I'm saying, talking about the money that is coming in and what you're actually holding. It's ridiculous.
And what is that thing the corporate, like you said, your project you got was from corporate. What is that thing that corporate do not understand when it comes to creative work?
Most of them have this belief that as long as you have a contract, they can throw anything your way. During the project, they feel like anything and everything that they get to do within that scope of work is still considered what you had quoted for. But the truth of the matter is, they misuse you sometimes. They get to really undercut you when it comes to some of the services you get to offer. So yes, you have to be a bit firm in when you're making some of these decisions, because you're going to be thrown under the bus a few times. Because they're going to twist your arm and say, this is the scope of work you were given. I don't understand why just doing 10 posters is an issue. You understand? When someone just throws that in your face, it means they really didn't value your work to begin with. So if you have a certain scope of work, please follow through with the terms of agreement you had. Don't whims yourself into a situation where you'll be tied to doing something you're not even happy because there's no compensation.
And how can an upcoming creative escape that challenge?
With the current times, you have to be really firm in who you are, because sometimes if you don't have you don't have discipline and principles, you will be overtaken and you'll be taken by these flows of everyone who's saying, it's just a poster. It's just a post. It's just, so anything that they get to do will be justified by, it is just.
Could you say they say it's just a poster because they don't understand the level of work that goes into making that one poster? Or is it ignorance?
Sometimes I feel like they do understand what they're asking for. Let's just start there. But they want to show you or mimic, or to just portray whatever you're getting to do is not really surmountable into the, it cannot be the thing that makes you not do the rest of the work, just a poster. Yes. So you're left wondering, who is paying for this? How am I being compensated? And when you start asking such questions, they call you difficult. Yes.
So now the problem changes, now comes back to the creative.
Yes.
Yes. What would you say most people misunderstand when it comes to making money out of creative work?
The time it takes to actually make money. Because like I said, for someone or people to understand you do design or you're a creative designer, you have to have done a lot. For people to actually know your name, you have done a lot. And in this industry, right now, it's forcing people to be a jack of all trades, which is not really something that I'd call being a creative per se. It's just being messy. because a job might ask for a creative designer who's doing photography, videography, who's doing video editing, animation, who's doing they want one person to handle jobs for 10 creatives, but it comes with one paycheck. You understand?
Yeah.
So now that market is becoming a little bit less and less fruitful to look into, especially when it comes to the money. Yes.
When you speak, because when people choose all jobs, like you're saying, people tend to pick everything without specializing. Sometimes it's because they're saying that what they specialize in is not bringing money.
Yeah.
So I can take in this, the videography, and maybe outsource it somewhere else as I work on this as a creative. What is the downside of doing that? Taking in too much than you can handle? And at the end of the day, what is the downside or even the upside of doing that?
Okay, there are two sides to that. You either get a very good deal that makes you incorporate some of your friends who are doing some of these jobs.
Yeah.
So if, for instance, I'll give an example with a friend of mine who we work on. If I've gotten an animation gig, I'll do some of the illustrations just to show direction. But he's very good in doing illustration and animation. So once he sees my direction, he just takes it on and just does animation.
Okay.
So we do it together. We're in sync in that. So the only pros that come with that is the teamwork, because I get to employ more creatives to handle these jobs. But the downside is turnaround times. The client, how do I call this? Ambiguous dreams and ambitions through your art, because they expect to see heaven while we're still on earth, with lack of a better word. Yeah. So sometimes people come with very, very huge expectations.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
When you think of pressure and expectations from work, family, and society, how do you navigate that as a young man? Because creativity itself, it has a lot of pressure. You're given something you need to create within a certain time of deadline. You also have other clients and you also have your own life to maintain. How do you handle all that and still be sane while doing it?
The truth of the matter is you're never sane. There's no one who's sane on this planet. We all have a drop of madness. Mine is creativity. So that's where I explore my madness. I go crazy. Life is a bit challenging because life, family, work, creative, all that is, I'd say, a channel through how we get to go through some of this day-to-day living. Work might be having a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So maybe you get to release that by having conversation with friends. Sometimes maybe there's a lot of pressure at home. You don't have anyone else to talk to through all this. You turn to your art to voice your concerns. So in a way, I think it just symbiotically just involves itself in everything I do into my life. If it's the kitchen, that's how I unwind for the day. If it's the creative, if I'm drawing, it means I'm looking for a release for that day and I just want the quiet.
Okay.
When it's around friends, family interactions or spaces like this, it's about growing yourself and wanting to meet and grow your network, which is your net worth.
I've heard you speak of creativity is your madness.
Yes.
Pastry is how you cool down, calm down, wind down your day.
Yes.
And then when you're in spaces where you're needed to speak to people, you're networking.
Yes.
Like you said, everyone on this has got some level of
madness
within them.
Yes.
Do you have a community that you get to go and talk to, that you can openly speak? Because we're looking at a generation where men are told they cannot voice what they're going through. And we're in tough times economically as a whole country. Where do you get to go and speak out your issues, your problems, other than just baking and drawing and being creative?
Well, the first place I go to is the spiritual. I'll draw from God. I'll sit down with him, ask him questions, maybe let him in on some of the things that are happening at the time. The next thing I think that he did for me during this becoming journey is he put people in my life intentionally, because I don't think a single day of my life since I started that part of phase of my journey, I've not met people who are not trying to grow and pull me into their growth.
Okay.
Yes. So I have a close group of friends. I don't have so many people, like 4 or 5. And it's been really life-changing because I found myself, for instance, in spaces like this. I'm not a person to sit in front of a camera, but I'm in spaces like this. So yes.
Here you are, in front of a camera.
Exactly. So yeah, I have a group of friends that's the only other avenue I have currently. Not a community, but they're the closest thing I have to a community right now.
Okay.
Yes.
And what would you tell men out there that just stick to themselves even when life gets tough?
It's not weak being vulnerable. If at one point I think I ever saw a strong meme or message, it actually pointed out, and I find it true, the people who feel are the ones who feel more, are the ones who are more stronger, I think, in this life, because vulnerability is not weakness.
Yeah.
It is not. And I've embraced that with all manner of the word. Yes. I don't believe in shutting yourself off from people. That doesn't help anything. It does not. Even if it means just finding one friend, you don't need to find 10,500 people no. Just one person who you can be genuinely yourself. What I feel like is we have a makeup, which is our face, the one that we wear outside. That makeup needs to go down every time, once in a while, at least for you to have semblance of normalcy.
Yeah.
Not to pretend, not to be something or someone you're not. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Fantastic advice. And looking into the economy world, the creative world and the economy that we are in, how would you say the creative world is doing?
We were having an earlier conversation, and I think with the emergence of AI and people being more and more aware of the platforms and whatnot, I'd say they equate being creative with just a click of a button, as opposed to what you've spent almost 20 years learning, which is now where the challenge comes in against the pay. Because now someone would, for instance, I'll go back to the statement which I just said around, it's just a post.
Yeah.
It's just a poster. So there are creatives out here who will charge you up for just a poster, 10,000 to 50,000, just for one poster. And there are people who will charge you 1,500. This is the difference in how I view it. 50,000, he's charging you for the years of experience he's had. That's what you're paying for, and that's why you've come looking for him. When it comes to the 1,500, we all look at it, if you're a creative, you look at it as a way of surviving. It's just, I'll do it. It's just for the money for now. Exactly. So you don't see the value in you paying the 50,000 because you have the 1,500.
Yeah.
That's when you come to me, you already have a response. When I tell you, this is my price, you shoot it down by telling me, I know someone cheap.
There's that conversation. Yeah.
So with all honesty, I just sit down and I calmly and as honest as I can in that conversation, I'll withdraw and just tell you kindly, just find that person, because I was showing what I'm giving you is not about the money. It's what I have to put into this work. Yeah.
That one of, I know somebody cheaper.
Yes.
Why are you charging 5,000? Yes, the other one did for me with 1,500. Those are
exactly. Exactly.
And they can be very painful to a creative who knows the amount of work and labor they put in.
True.
You touched on AI, and there has been conversation going around where people are asking, is AI going to replace the creatives? Since now AI can do music, compose music, produce a whole video.
Well,
what's your take on that?
AI has its benefits, it has its pros and its negatives. The pros is when you put yourself into the artwork. That's the only thing you look at it. Pros being its creativity is about storytelling, and it's about how good and how well you told it. AI is good in mimicry of what we can do. It's not telling it as it is, because if it was telling it as it should be, you cannot tell the difference between AI and what's real. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the difference that we have. You cannot replace a human being with a machine because of efficiency, because of the creativity that goes into something. It's years of experience this person has gone through to get to give you that one poster, one music video, one audio edit. Like, it's years. And it's even seen on how it's executed.
Okay.
Yes.
Plus, I guess also AI has no authenticity. It has no authentic.
It mimics from us.
Yes. So whatever I create is what it borrows and just makes it aesthetically pleasing.
Exactly.
Okay. Beyond just doing pastry and creative work, where else do we find Joe?
Well, there are other spaces I'm willing to look into. Yeah. Because there's a voice inside me that needs to be heard, and it needs to reach to other young men. I have another platform that I'm looking into, which is supposed to be coming into in this year. Still looking into it. It's on Instagram. Some people maybe have stumbled upon it. The Vulnerable Gentleman, which is where now I'm targeting young men who are going through life with this belief system that we already have been given in not being vulnerable, not being able to open up, and not letting anyone in. Where I've seen millennials, we have the highest death rates when it comes to young men, where life has become so hard. You don't even have one person to open up to. You just saw the only way out is acid. You only saw the one way out is death. That has been really sad, and it's painful to actually acknowledge that most of our millennial men are the ones who are actually taking their own lives because it's so hard. So hard.
What made you want to look into that space, other than the statistics of millennial men killing themselves or facing hard times that they cannot talk to anyone about it? What else drove you into that line? And as African, we usually say, okay, mostly Africans say that we don't open up, we don't go to therapy, we speak to Jesus. And even nowadays, that Jesus, people are also not speaking to that Jesus. They're only retaining their troubles inside.
True.
Yeah. True. And before you get to know it, it's too late. Somebody's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was, or there is, a culture where you get to pass on the baton. I've heard about passing the baton in various fields, various platforms. But now when it comes to this platform specifically, it's passing on what is positive about the millennial generation. It's not about... We were raised by people who are very closed off, to be honest.
Yeah.
And this current generation, when we are talking about opening up, some men will even call it being a simp, with lack of a better word, or just say he's just being a woman about his situation, other than just handling it as a man. Being a man doesn't equate to that. And it's carrying a lot of weight when it comes to opening up. I've seen it with young men. We believe there's a hierarchy in how people live. When you're born as a man, you're told what not to do, what you're not supposed to be. Don't be over feminine. Don't be in the kitchen too much. It's a woman's place. Don't plait your hair. Don't, there are a lot of things that you're being told in this society not to do as a man. But how does that equate to you not being a man? You understand?
Yeah.
So some of our young men are growing into those little categories where they're ticking off, it's living like you're checking off a box. Number one, good job.
Yeah.
Number two, a good wife, children, a good house, a good car. It's a checkbox, a checklist. Now it stopped from living. It's now checking a box. Why? Because you want to make sure the person next to you, or your neighbor, or your friend, or whoever it is that you want to show off into this generation, you are okay. But the truth of the matter is, you'll have all that. And if you are not happy, if you are not genuinely you, then what is it all for? Because even these people that you've collected or gathered during the journey of checking boxes, they don't mean that much to you at the end of the day.
No,
they were just another checkbox. Exactly. And that's what I want to cancel out.
Okay. Yes. Fantastic angle.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you go home, you're on your own, you're alone. And you sitting alone with your thoughts.
Yes.
So you could have accumulated all that wealth and all that money and all that prestige. But in your mind, you still have some battles that you're fighting.
Yes. You're still that person who you were before all this. It didn't change anything.
Yeah.
It didn't change anything.
Do you see as though the millennial men are going to get somewhere? And I'm speaking about millennial because for the Gen Z, we have seen how outspoken they are. I may not speak to the Gen Z men, I don't know, but to any category of men. Do you see they'll get to a point where they'll be vulnerable enough to just speak to what they're going through, just open up without feeling like they're being coerced into doing it?
I'm looking at it from a perspective of the group of people or the people I've interacted with this far. There are people who are open to it. They're ready to actually join these platforms and be in such spaces. Because life is already hard, so they need a space where they can be.
Yeah.
But truth of the matter is, most of them or most of us are willing to just be quiet about our problems. We're okay with just shutting the world out and just saying, see me life.
Until it becomes
exactly
tough that even that life, you feel like it's not worth living.
Exactly.
That's a sad state. And as you think of how you're going to begin this, to be able to help men open up, what are some of the activities you're looking into incorporate through that journey?
Well, the things growing up were fun because they're like passing on the baton from your granddad to your dad to you, which were now the traditions of how to prepare meals, which is meat from the slaughter, roasting and all that. It's like tradition, passing it down. So you have mentors or people who are older than you who get to join this, who will help you in this journey to show you. It's like guidance. I'm using that as a symbolic to just guide you through on where they went wrong. It's not where they think you're going wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, because if they can point out and they're able to voice out their differences, now it's easier for us to actually see this is not the right way to live.
I know you were using that example as a symbolic,
yes.
But if you look at it practically, how many men nowadays know how to kuchinja, kuchoma until it comes? Because I remember back in the day, Christmas.
That used to be a tradition for men.
The men would go to a corner and wanapewa mbuzi. Then the women go to the kitchen and make the stew and the rice. And then the men would choma nyama and then it would come passing. I remember we used to tell our uncles, nini kazi yenu ni kukula nyama huko. Alafu tukileta mokimo, mnasema mmeshiba. Alafu by the time we need the meat, wanasema, bado haiko ready, but you started at 7. When you look at this generation nowadays, I don't think even most of them can kill a chicken.
Okay, something changed. And I think this is the thing that I'm talking about, being sane, being what and being what. So there's this saying that weak men create bigger problems, and our problems create stronger men, like that, something like that. So I'm here to say there are things we found hard growing up, And sometimes when growing up, you want to find an easier way to deal with it. For instance, there are people who are handy with their hands in the house. So you find that if something is off in the house, there's a tap that's leaking, there's maybe an electrical fault in the house, they are on it. They know how, they have the know-how, or they're at least trying to rectify it. And there are those that are like, that's not my jurisdiction.
Call the plumber.
Exactly. And that is where now that desperation or disparity came from. Because now even the Gen Zs are okay with saying, so we can call the butcher guy. We can just call the, because there's that provision now of saying, I can call Mama wa Chapati, even for our ladies. I can call Mama wa Chapati. I can call Mama wa, we've had now people for everything. You don't want to get tired or to get to waste this time for relaxation, as we call it, as someone else is handling it for you. So you call it the messy, the dirty work, as you get to enjoy the day. But truth of the matter is, for me, I think that is where the joy came from. Because from start to finish, you got to spend time with this person, you got to know more about them. Through all these things that you're getting to do, by the time it's get to the table, you are more closer together. And that's how families actually stayed when we're growing up. Right now, that including and involving other people into your spaces makes us more closed off, because this is a new person, not ready to open up. I'll just talk to the people that I know. Once they're done with preparing whatever they're doing, they prepare it on the table, they go their merry way. So spaces have become a little bit more and more individualistic. I'd call it that. So you don't want to get tired. You don't want to do these things because they're messy. They're messy.
You mentioned something very important, that doing the slaughtering of the cows and the goats during family time was how families spent time together. And it got me thinking of, how do families spend time together today? Do we have instances where kids and parents are together cooking, like back in the days? What is happening today? And when, from your observation, what is it that they're doing wrong or right?
I think in this current day and age, where we have ladies who are more modern, who are more educated and well-educated than our parents were. So we've gotten to a generation where we have the strong woman, the independent woman, and everything. We forgot about the boy child, how to live with these people. Sometimes in these spaces, you find that the man is either the one in the kitchen, the man is the one with the children, the lady is outside from a long day of work, enjoying a drink, enjoying friends. Before she gets to the house, she'll find everything ready on the table. If it comes to a household where the man is the one who is now outside waiting, the wife is waiting on him, she'll wait till around 3 or 4, the food is cold. You see, this work culture, individualistic, capitalist way that we're living has brought about a divide, where things that used to bring people more closer together have become spaces where you don't really want to be in, because it's not your jurisdiction. I mean, what do I know about cooking? What do I know about, having conversations that are uncomfortable? This environment we've created for ourselves, the faces, the masks that we get to wear on a day-to-day are slowly becoming us.
It also feels like in today's world, we converse more with the social media than we do with the people we are with one-on-one.
Again, we've replaced real human connections with the gadgets. So what we are looking at, and again, I'll point it, checking boxes. So-and-so got a car, I'll get a car next month. So-and-so got married, I'll plan mine by December. So-and-so have a child, I'll plan mine maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line. It's all become checklists at the end of the day. And it's become so toxic in a manner that there's nothing that you can compare yourself to. And this is being honest, in a generation where we have millennials, we've actually seen things come from cassette, CD, MP3 player, VCR, to all the way to now just transferring or playing music from the phone. So that whole generation of life happened to millennials. Now look at it in this manner, that we enjoyed one-on-one conversations. We enjoyed going outside to play.
Yes.
We enjoyed human interactions. We find it very weird and very odd that we got to replace those human interactions with a gadget in our phone.
And that thing has translated to a lot of marriages where you hear people saying, we didn't have communication, we didn't talk to each other, we just lived like neighbors, brothers, roommates. Because when you come home from work, I serve you food, you eat, you're on your gadget. When I come home from work, I do whatever it is I need to do. I go to my Instagram and have my phone. So during the day, we don't see each other. And when we come home in the evening, we are both on our gadgets. And then you end up asking yourself, why are there so many marriages breaking? To an extent where previously I had one of our pastors in church say, there's a marriage what do they call? Bringing together, that ceremony, they officiate. Is it called officiate? What is it called? That pastors bringing
two people together.
Yes.
Marrying two people.
Yes, when pastors marry two people together. One of those marriages just lasted 1 month. And you wonder, before you guys, how are you guys communicating? Didn't you guys know your differences before you got to engage into this whole marriage thing? And so you look at the society, the way it's going, and borrowing from what you're saying, we have become a microwave generation, like people say it. We want things instantly. I want to get things because somebody else is getting it also. Peer pressure from social media. You fail to realize that my family is different from another person's family. And so when you come together with all the expectations that is in the world. Other men do this, why are you not doing this? Other women do this, why are you not doing this? See? So borrowing into that conversation and what you're building, how do you look at it and how can we help some, or at least just push some of these marriages to not break in 1 month? 1 month is very short. And it's very sad.
That is sad. But I think when I look at it from that perspective, how you've portrayed it, we have to stop with expectations, to be honest. There's a pastor or a priest who actually said, you have to die to yourself when you get into marriage. I didn't understand what he was talking about, but now it's very loud. That means you had an individualistic mindset as an individual before you got into that marriage. That means you were one. Anything and any decision that you had to make didn't have to be interfered or incorporate another person to let you know how your night's going to end, how your night's going to be, what you're supposed to have for dinner. No. If you didn't feel like cooking, you don't feel like cooking. So you don't have to carry that selfish individualism into marriage. It's good to think about how you're supposed to become a better person for this marriage. Yes, there are things you used to do, things you used to enjoy, but now you have to think about the other person. How was their day? How can I make their day better? Vice versa. Because the minute you die to yourself, it means now you're ready to serve one another. You're not just getting into a relationship where you're like, you found me like this.
Yes.
That statement alone has killed a lot of marriages. You found me like this. Why are you trying to change me? So those are the things that I think he was pointing out to, and I'm saying they're very loud right now, because when you die to yourself, that selfish line of thought really dies at that point you said, I do. Because it means you're trying to become someone better for this union.
Okay.
Now you're not one, you're two. You're one, okay, you're two people who become one. That's how the math goes. The spiritual math, that's how they call it. 1 + 1 = 1. So you're one person now, you're one team, you're one family, right? So I think that type of mentality is what we need to bring more or to address more. Because if we continue checking boxes, we are going to still end up with high divorce rates. Yeah, we're still going to end up there. Because all we're doing is still checking boxes at the end of the day.
And having very many single-raised children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I'm hearing is when you say I do, you tick the box of consideration. I now become considerate. I now become aware that I'm no longer doing decisions on my own. I have somebody else to consider, no matter how minute they are.
Yes.
Yes. And it's not, usually say it's not wrong to want to do something by yourself, for yourself, because that's where we say, I don't have to say everything my husband, or my wife. But it is a good thing that if you know you're married, to just mention it to the person you're living with. If it's buying a car, if it's buying a house, just mention it to the person you're married to. At the end of the day, you became one, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is that one or many conversation that you wish you had the opportunity to have them before probably you began business or you became a man or you even began a family? What is that conversation?
What I wish so hard right now is that I had a male role model or a figure that would have guided me through what it looks like financially to be stable, to be free, and to actually be able to say you can live a life, not just as a father, but as a man. What does that look like? What does that mean? Because you're left wondering or asking questions, and there's no one to answer those questions for you. So even when you're getting into these forums or spaces where you get to network or talk to people, some people, since we're trying to check boxes at the end of the day, will still sell a facade. Because as much as they'll tell you this, it's not really exactly what is working for them.
So they're not authentic. Okay.
So I was hoping to have that conversation as a young man. By the time you're getting into a man, you already know this is how I'm supposed to handle this conversation. This is how I'm supposed to handle this type of scenario. Like you're sat through and you're led to know it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can start to, you don't have to solve everything today. So learning that on my own has been really, really hard. I'm a creative director. I do art, graphic design services. I have a platform on Instagram called All by Design, where I have all manners of arts, art campaigns, ad campaigns. Those are the things that we get to do from a day-to-day. If it's on publications, if it's on illustrations, if it's on, let's say you want maybe a music album branded or designed, we can do that for you. You can find us on Instagram as All by Design. As my pastry profession goes, I have a platform as well called Crafty Dough. Crafty Dough currently is we're coming to. So maybe we give it a month or two, then we'll be back on orders, online orders specifically. We'll be back on that. We'll update on the Instagram page on our times and our dates. On the Vulnerable Gentleman, and this is really close to my heart, I will officially launch that around close to December, close to Christmas. So that's when I feel like it will be in its full effect for all the young men who feel like they need guidance, they need a way forward, and for all the older men who feel like this platform can really help them engage with us. Other young men, you're open and welcome to this platform so that we get to reach out, help as many young men as we can, so that we don't also let this generation go on with thinking they have everything right or they know how to handle everything right. Confidence is the best in everything that you get to do, yes. But overconfidence ruins everything else.